people don't realize it, but we live in that fight or flight mode. It's called sympathetic nervous system most of our life. And I think that that was a really beneficial brain way to function back a really long time ago. And we were being chased by zebras or lions or whatever, But now we still get the same panicky things when your boss gives you a deadline or your kid calls you with bad news or the dog is barking too loud. So we just are in that constant state. And I think what people don't realize, because they just think, I got my head above water, I'm surviving. But just surviving isn't thriving.
Welcome to the Sock Drawer Podcast, where life is messy, but we always find meaning in it. Every week, we pull out the stories, the lessons, and the hidden gems. And then we ask the big question, keep it or kick it? If you're ready for real talk, brave steps forward. I'm your host, Lisa Begley, and you're listening to the Sock Drawer Podcast. Let's jump right in. Hello, and welcome to the Sock Drawer Podcast. Welcome, family. This is where people, processes, and personal turning points and reinvention behind today's most interesting work happens. Today's conversation sits at the intersection of wellness, nervous system regulation, and emerging approaches to stress and restoration. My guest today is Courtney Yarch, owner of the founder of Harmonic Egg and Wellness GR in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Courtney works with light and sound frequencies, helping people regulate stress, calm the mind, to reconnect with a deeper sense of balance. I can speak to this personally. I had the opportunity to work with her this past week on it a little bit, and I can't wait to share it. But this work, listen, it didn't begin as a business idea. It began as a personal journey. Courtney, I'm really glad you're here. Welcome to the Sock Drawer Podcast family. We're happy to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. I so appreciate this, Lisa. I just love to talk about all the good stuff going on and how people can regulate their nervous system. So I love what you're doing.
Oh my gosh.
We can just communicate and brag it up.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's just start at the beginning. This is where, I feel like we need to start at the beginning.
Yeah.
Can you take us to the wellness journey? When did it all begin? Where did you start?
Without going into crazy amounts of detail, and I'm not saying mine is more or less valid than anyone else's, but I had a lot of childhood trauma. I had just some heavy stuff go on. And so I went through that like perfectionism phase where I thought I could just do perfect grades and just be perfect, and that would get me through it. And, that's not quite enough. And as soon as I graduated college, I started teaching fitness classes. I thought I could exercise my way through the stress, eat really clean, and it would just get me through the trauma. You think you can just bury it all. And I mean, I'm still teaching fitness classes, so that's still a part of my life, but I know that's not enough. I know that even in the past couple of years, I still would, when I would feel out of control, when my kids would be driving me nuts, or when the person in front of me would suck at driving. I just get triggered and frustrated in ways that's not a fun feeling, So I've always been looking for something else. What else is there to do? So a couple of years ago, I went back to school. I'm an integrative health coach and a nutritional kinesiologist. But I also learned that you can't just take more supplements. That doesn't necessarily fix it all either. So I've tried talk therapy and EMDR and journaling and meditating. And it wasn't until I found the harmonic, so I'm always looking for something new. And I found the harmonic egg, and I don't mean to downplay it or over exaggerate it, but my whole life changed. I feel like I'm a new person. My kid was really mad at me yesterday, and she actually said, "You used to be such a bad mom who would yell at me all the time, and you don't even yell anymore." And I'm like, well,
Yay!
I guess that's a good thing. But I think she wanted to get a fight out of me, So it has totally changed the way I relate to people, the way I manage my stress levels, the way I sleep. It's made me a new person. And so I want to just get the word out there for everyone else.
I love it. So can you take us to the moment when you first experienced the harmonic egg? Tell me a little bit about that and were you in the egg, and did you realize this might be something worth sharing with others and creating a business out of?
So I had heard about the harmonic egg for several years. There's one out in Naperville that I have a good acquaintance who goes to this one out in Naperville all the time. And I totally admit that I would watch her post when she'd brag up, "Oh, I'm going to the harmonic egg." And I would kind of laugh to my husband "Oh, she's off her rocker. She's going to go sit in that egg again." What? Because it seemed so crazy, but she also kept talking about the benefits. And so I kept thinking I wanted to try it, but the closest one until recently was 3.5 hours away in Naperville. It's outside of Chicago. That is way too far to drive for something that might be kind of beneficial. I had no clue. So I told you I have 3 teenagers and life gets crazy sometimes. So back in September, so September of 2024, we had some family drama. We have 3 teenagers. You know how life goes. And at the same week that I was at like my wit's end, I was just in trauma mode again, like, what the heck is going on? A Harmonic Egg Center opened in Bay City, and that's only 2 hours from my house. So I was like, well, I'm going to schedule my session. I was there the very first week it opened, and it was so relaxing. Janet's over in Bay City, and she's the egg guardian, and it was really relaxing. But at the same time,
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I just drove 2 hours to be a little bit relaxed. What? I was kind of mad about that, because I was in a trauma state. And
Yeah.
she said to me, now listen, Courtney, there's this 5 to 7 day integration period. You're going to feel progressively better over the next 5 to 7 days. And when you're in a trauma state, you can't really wrap your brain around that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I do.
So I was relaxed, but I was also kind of mad that I was just relaxed. I wanted all my problems fixed, but I slept great that night. And it wasn't the next day, but it was probably 2 days later that I woke up and I like tapped my husband like, oh my gosh, Brian, something changed. Like I feel so different. And he was like, oh, I'm glad you got some sleep. That's so cute. And I was just whatever. I went on with my day. And maybe 4 days after, so like a couple days after that, I was like,
Yeah.
it might be that weird egg I sat in. He's like, no, no. You just sat in an egg, Courtney. You told me you listened to pretty music and had some lights. And I'm like, I don't know what else it could be. So I don't know. Finally,
Yeah.
about a week later, I was like, Brian, you need to go sit in this egg. Like, drive your butt across state and go sit in this egg and see if it changes you as much as it changed me. And I am passionate all the time. This is Courtney. I'm always excited about new things. But my husband is like stable and steady. And he called me
Yeah.
on the way home from his egg session. He's like, whoa, we need one of these. Like, let's get one for our basement. And I looked it up and I was like, oh no, these are too expensive to put in our basement. But my plan was, let's just go to Bay City once a month. Like, there's only one egg there, but I was like, we'll just drive 2 hours. I'll do an egg session. You'll do an egg session, and we'll drive back. That was my plan. He was like, let's start a business. And I was like, oh, honey, I teach Pilates. We have 3 teenagers. What are you talking about? But,
Yeah.
things happen at the right time, and you don't always understand it's not a coincidence. Synchronicities happen in life.
Yeah.
So anyway, I tried it in September. He tried it in October, and we opened in January with 2 harmonic eggs. Huh. And we're totally balanced out, let me tell you.
I can tell. And it's what an amazing story. And it's interesting because one of the things when you and I first started talking was I was really struggling to wrap my head around it.
Mhm.
Now I haven't looked, I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I know we talked about this before we got on the show here, but, and I will look it up because I do want to experience it in person.
Yeah.
Right. But the benefits from just experiencing it afar, the skepticism that comes along with that, like, how do you counteract that to people?
Well, I guess there's two ways to look at it. Like, I am so passionate about it, and I know that it works.
Yeah.
But I also am like, I'm guarding my energy. I will tell you about it till I'm blue in the face, but I'm not gonna waste my energy convincing you. If this is something for you, I would love for you to try it because I can do remote
Yeah.
sessions. We can talk about that a little bit later in the egg, whether you're here or not. I love the experience of being in the egg. It is beautiful. It is comforting. It puts me in those like theta wave states. But when I have people who come in and they cross their arms like I think that's hooky, I'm just not going to waste my energy. But if
Yeah.
you're interested, if someone's actually interested, I'm going to tell them this is all energy. We are all vibration. Everything you see, the chair you're sitting in, the plant behind you, your body, your breath, even your emotions have vibration and energy. And you
Yeah.
can't create or destroy energy. So in the quantum field, it's all magic. I need some identifying pieces of information like your name and your birthday and a photo of you to help you get located in the quantum. And then I can still send you some nice healing vibes.
Yeah, it was great. And I'm telling you, I'm like, how many days passed now, Courtney?
I think you're, are you 4 or 5? You were on Saturday.
Saturday. So do we count Saturday as a full
No,
day?
so Sunday,
or-
Monday, Tuesday, we're on Wednesday. That's only been 4 days.
Yeah, so I'm just reaching the 5 to 7 day mark. And I was telling you earlier, like, you guys, I feel so like I get up and I get more done And I've always been high energy in the morning, but I noticed that I have a happiness, sort of more focused happiness to get my things done, right? So like I get up, I started stretching. I'm happier. I get more done in the first hour than a lot of people get done in an entire day. You know, from laundry, dishes away, coffee made, dogs fed, dogs out, dogs back in. Now I'm dressed, brush my teeth, make the bed, drink some water. Like it's all these things, that I am like happy to do. And I feel good. And I know I still have a few more days to experience more and more of the benefits. And that's from afar, right? That was from afar. So the energy I derived from just sitting, Courtney, for 50 minutes and breathing. So I hate to use the word forced, but it was because that's what you needed to do in order to gain that frequency.
Yeah.
Right. And so sitting for that 50 minutes, I got 3 chapters in a book read.
Yeah, girl.
And then when I wasn't reading, I was just closing my eyes, sitting in a receiving posture and welcoming anything that would come to me. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. I can't say enough about it. And I can't wait to research and see what's close to me and head that way. Yeah. And if I'm ever in Grand Rapids, I'm coming to you.
Yeah.
But tell me a little bit more give me a little bit more of the science, the background, right? The frequencies, how it all works. It's not spiritual mumbo jumbo, guys. It's not. It really does work, and we are created this way. So, Courtney,
for the people who are like, the doubters or the haters gonna hate, I have a bunch of articles, like PubMed articles on my website. Light and sound therapy are not new. They're not woo. Like there is scientific evidence all over everything. And I don't just mean in crazy. I get people who ask me, is this a spiritual thing or is this a new age thing? And I'm like, if you want to go that route, you can, but I'm looking at it from the science. So the different things, like I have purple behind me right now, and I don't know if you can see, I got green below and purple above.
I love it.
So purple is really great for, think like crown chakra. It is great for focus. It's great for calming that monkey mind that just runs 1,000 miles an hour. Creativity. Yeah. So a lot of times I put artists on purple, either purple above or purple below, or sometimes double purple. If you have a big project coming up and you have something you need like to get a deadline, purple is great. But also that like monkey brain that just keeps going. I got green below me. I don't know if you can see. There we go.
I see it.
Yeah. So the green below the chair is great for overall healing. It's also great for calming, but not in the same way as the blue is calming. Green is also really good for like migraines, specifically. We live in Michigan. I don't know what it's like where you live in North Carolina, but it is snowy, and it's cloudy. So a lot of people in Michigan deal with depression or seasonal affective disorder. So I don't actually put a ton of people on a street like a dark blue. Let me see if I can grab a remote. So like this is what a blue would look like. But blue is, because you are in an enclosed space for 50 minutes, it's almost too calming. And so if you deal with depression, I would probably put you more in like an aqua. I don't know if you can tell. That's a little bit more uplifting, but it still has the inflammation results. Yeah. People who are dealing with constipation or need to get their immune system or their metabolism going, I'm going to put you on yellow. Let me tell you, if you come in constipated and I put you on some yellow, you are going to go home and feel a lot better afterwards. Let me tell you. It's crazy.
So that is crazy. And I love it. So our listeners, I will tell you, are so open-minded and so welcoming to these things. So I think the technology and the science behind it is really neurological, right? So, and it's how our bodies, you said that we all walk with a vibration. Yeah. We are, okay, tell me a little bit more about that. So it's like
your body the harmonic egg is built with the principles of sacred geometry, kind of like the seeds in a sunflower seed or a seahorse tail or like a conch shell. So those are proportions that your body resonates with. So although we just look at pretty light and when you're in there, you hear pretty sounds, from like a nerdy science perspective, it is all energy bouncing around. And the crazy thing is, now everyone's different and it depends on if you're coming more for like emotional reasons or more for physical reasons. But most people
Yeah.
who go into the harmonic egg, regardless of what color or light I have, they feel it wherever they have injuries. So if you've had like a sprained knee, or you've had a C-section scar, or you have like a rod in your neck or something, or you just do this when you get tense, you
Yeah.
feel where the energy is trying to move through. I know
Hmm.
when we did your remote session, you said you didn't know, but you didn't come with any big injuries, so to speak.
No big injuries.
Right.
Right.
But
It was, yeah, just more
yeah.
stress and
Yeah.
overwhelm and that kind of thing. Yep.
But so whereas the lights and the sound emit different frequencies, and in a resonance chamber, your body tries to match. Your body's like, oh yeah, that's a good place to be. So I don't just put you in there willy nilly. Like I talk to you before I pick the light and the sound, because I want to make sure it's frequencies that we want to set you to. Because also we haven't talked about sound yet, but the sound frequencies also do different things for your body too. So we put you in a
Yes.
space where your body is going to try to resonate, like match those frequencies. So if you need some stimulation, we're going to give you something like red or orange or magenta, which vibrates at a lot faster rate because you need a little bit of uplifting. Whereas if you need to calm down, like purple, blue, and green vibrate at a lower rate. So we're going to try to get your body to
Nice.
match.
Yeah. And I think that's what we did with mine. So let me ask you, how long is a session?
50 minutes inside the egg. The lights stay on the whole time. They don't flash or blink or strobe, so no like seizure
Okay.
effects. During a session, there's 40 minutes of music and then 10 minutes of silence. And I know some people
Mm.
say, like, I don't think I can sit there for 10 minutes in silence without my cell phone. And I'm like, listen, there's a doorbell. You're not trapped in there. There's no like lock on the door. If you need to leave, you can, but try. And so far, I think there's only been one or two people the whole year I've been open who have actually left early, because the 10 minutes of relaxation, you get to just settle a little bit. And
Yeah.
it's actually key. Most people, even if you've been awake the whole like 40 minutes of music, sometimes people fall asleep just those last 10 minutes where your body gets
Yeah.
to heal, and it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah. I listen, in my remote session, that was amazing. And even just my initial day of being able, we talk to people a lot about take 10 minutes,
Yeah.
take 15
Yeah.
minutes and just be, right? Just be still. And that's a lot of times what I use as a tiny dare for my listeners or my clients is like, just breathe, take 15 minutes, drink some water, and then just sit. And yeah, people do find it difficult to carve out even 10 minutes in their day
Yeah.
when you're forced, kind of semi-forced, right? It sounds so aggressive to say forced, but when you're forced to do it and sit, and not only 10, but I sat for 50. And I put my phone on do not disturb to your recommendation. Amazing. The rest of the day just went like clockwork for me, just in that day, because I think I sat, and then the vibrations still coming my way, which I'm so excited about. Now, so it's one session, 50 minutes. How many sessions do you typically recommend for people? And what does that depend on?
Well, that's a tricky question. I can give you
Yeah.
several different answers. I'm going to say this is kind of broad and non-specific, but kind of like if I said, how many massages do you think I should get? You'd say, well, one
Yeah.
definitely benefits you. One can be life-changing. Maybe if
Yeah.
you did it once a month, it would be better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I
if
do.
someone is working specifically on a specific issue, if they are dealing with some past traumas, or they're dealing with, I don't know, long-term COVID or breast implant illness or tinnitus, like if they have an issue they're specifically focusing on, I have protocols. So based on what it is, maybe every week or every 2 weeks for 4 or 6 or 8 sessions.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors. But if you're just
Yeah.
coming for general maintenance, like I'm mostly stable, but I would like the continued blessing of calm, then I would say once
Yeah.
a month is totally ideal. If you
Okay.
only come in once a month, then I'm probably always going to focus mainly on resetting the autonomic nervous system. But there's
Okay.
still, I think I have maybe 12 or 14 different autonomic nervous system reset songs. So it's not like you're always going to get the same light or song combination. You still get some variety in there.
Mm.
But if you were to
Yeah.
come more frequently, there's some, like, I probably wouldn't play a ton of drums if we were just working on rebalancing your nervous system. But drums have a lot of
Okay.
benefits with like immune support and with bone density. So like different stuff that
Yeah.
I just wouldn't play in a nervous system reset.
Okay. Now, music wise, let's talk just
Yeah.
to give our listeners an idea of when they go to this harmonic egg session, what's the music like? Is it, like, and I'll just liken it to this because I'm clueless, right? You go in, when you go get an MRI
Hmm.
and you're in there and it's like ring, 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 ring. Is it kind of like something that sort of replays over and over again? Or is it just like you're getting a massage and you're in a spa and it's very soothing?
So, I mean, I probably have about, I don't know, I haven't counted recently, but probably 40 or 45 different songs. So some of them are more like
Okay.
symphonic. Some of them are more like just singing bowls and piano. Some of them have different
Okay.
nature sounds because, crickets are really good for your nervous system. Most water,
Crickets
chirp,
like
chirp, chirp,
like the
chirp.
little bug
Yeah.
cricket. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Or
right.
like buzzing
Okay.
bees. Oh, this is crazy. Did you know that beekeepers have like the longest or like the lowest all cause mortality? Like beekeepers live so long and like health span. Did you know that?
Wow. No, I didn't know. No. And what do they attribute that to?
Being around the vibrations all the time, the bzzz, because now it's not that our
Interesting.
song that has bee vibrations sounds like that the whole time. It's not like bzzz, but it's underneath. So there's other instruments, so that's just like a background noise for a lot of it in the song.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, we have singing bowls. We got a lot of didgeridoo. We have wind chimes, depending on what you need. A lot of the songs
Okay.
have string instruments because, like, harp and cello are really uplifting when you're dealing with grief. Which, let's be honest, right? Who doesn't deal with some grief in this crazy world?
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, it's inevitable.
Yeah.
It's going to happen at some time in our life,
Yeah.
obviously.
So
Yeah.
I put a lot of string instruments depending on, it's interesting when people come in and they're dealing with, whether it's a job loss or a fight with a child or communication
Mm,
disruptions. Grief could be a lot of different things, but they almost
yeah.
always, if I put on like heart music or cello, they always say, I feel
Mm,
something in my chest. Like I felt, like a weighted blanket or like a warmth. And it's because grief gets stored in your lungs.
hmm
And so, anyway, that's one thing about grief. Flu resonates with your liver. So, if you have some
mm,
detox to do, like if you had surgery, you need to
yeah.
detox from some anesthesia, or you
hmm
live in this crazy world and, eat and drink and breathe crazy stuff. If we
Yeah.
need to detox you, I'm going to play some flute because flute resonates right down here with your liver. And oh my goodness. So drums and didgeridoo are really good for immune system also. So and bone density, kind of crazy that they go both
hmm
ways. So different
Yeah.
instruments, I'm really going to pick it out. And if you have high blood pressure or low blood pressure, I'm going to play different music. If you have if you're constipated or you have like loose stools, I'm going to play different music. So depending on
Okay.
think like a sound bath, but like really individualized just for you and there's no person next to you snoring and the person next to you is not rolling over and it's sounds that are just meant for you.
Yeah. Specific to you. What has surprised you, Courtney, most about how people respond once they actually get to experience it?
I think that most people, at least the first couple times they come in and they're like, this is weird. My neighbor told me to come in, or this sounds kind
hmm
of wacky, but I'm here because my husband told me to, or whatever. People come in and
Yeah.
they're not very even polite about like, they don't try to hide their like confusion, like I'm just here
Yeah.
because blah, blah, blah. And I
Yeah.
usually follow up after 4 or 5 days because there's this integration period. I don't check in the next day. And but people tell me the craziest things like I can't tell you like I didn't even know I wasn't a good sleeper until I'm sleeping
Yeah.
better. Or I really thought I was a reasonable blah blah blah, but now I'm getting along better with my husband and my kids and or man, this project at work, I am just cracking out that I've been so just burdened with for a long time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like one guy came in and he had a really bad migraine and he was like, my wife made me come. She made the appointment. He was kind
Mm.
of rude about it, like, crossing his arms. I probably won't be
Yeah.
able to stay in because I have a headache. And I was like, you're not
Oh.
trapped. Like, you can leave at any point. But we put on double green for him above and below because green is great for it. I think we played a song called Reduce Inflammation. And I was half planning on him ringing the doorbell at any point for me to come get him. But he stayed in the whole
Yeah.
time. So I was kind of tentatively, I rang the chimes afterwards. I opened the doors. How are you feeling? And he said, it was so crazy. He said, within like 4 or 5 minutes, like I felt something on the right side of my head that went, he said like 6 or 8 times. It just was like a wind sound
Like
through over his head.
interesting. Oh my
And he's like,
gosh. When he,
my migraine's gone.
I was going to ask you, when he got done, was his migraine gone?
Totally. He said within like 5 or 8 minutes of getting into his egg.
Wow. Now, when folks like that experience something right away,
Mhm.
which is great, because correct me if I'm wrong, not everybody
No,
does.
no, a lot of people, it
It's not
takes,
like,
some people it even
yeah,
takes the full 7 days. Everyone's different.
okay. Everyone's different, exactly. But when people experience it right away like that, do they typically want to come back like, I'll be here next
Yeah.
week,
Yeah.
kind of a
And I
thing?
just remind
Yeah,
them,
I
like,
can only
I would
imagine.
love to see you next week. You definitely can't come back like tomorrow or anything because there's this integration period. So you have to wait at least the 5 to 7 days.
Okay, that makes
Also, there's a
sense.
cost. So most people are not in here every single week. Although for
Yeah,
my members, they
yeah.
get great deals for multiple sessions the more they do. Um,
Okay,
but most people who love it come once or twice a month. That's what I see the
yeah.
most.
Okay, so how do you, I'm interested to know because this can be, I'm sure people can think of it as kind of like woo woo, whatever, but it's not. And we talked a lot, we've talked a lot about the nervous system and why is regulation such a focus of this work, of your work, Courtney?
Right. I think because people don't realize it, but we live in that fight or flight mode. It's called sympathetic. It's just sympathetic nervous system. The
Yeah.
that fight or flight mode most of our life, and I think that was a really beneficial, brain way to function back a really long time ago, and we were being chased by zebras or lions or whatever. But
Yeah.
now we still
Yeah.
get the same panicky things when your boss gives you a deadline or your kid calls you with bad news or the dog is barking too loud. So we just are in that constant state. And I think what people don't realize, because they just think, I got my head above water, I'm surviving, I'm surviving. But just
Yeah.
surviving isn't thriving. And I told you, like, I've lived my life of trauma and I kept searching for that. And I knew that something better had to exist, but I
Yeah.
honestly didn't know how, I don't know how to say this without sounding silly, but I didn't know how good I could feel until my nervous system was balanced. Like, I think the
Yeah.
biggest thing for me is I get along with people without people still annoy me sometimes, but I don't get triggered the same way. I don't get
Yeah.
mad. Like,
Yeah.
I used to yell a lot, which I feel so bad even admitting. I used to yell when my kids would do crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I, I don't really yell anymore. I just feel a lot more regulated. And that sounds silly
Love
until
that.
you've experienced it, but the change is
No,
drastic. I sleep better. Um,
I love that.
I deal with like I lift weights. I love to muscle through it. My workouts are better. My recovery is
Yeah.
better. I can't tell you enough benefits of it. It's
Yeah.
so good.
So good. And honestly, like, yes, strength training, all of that. Listen, we've all yelled at our
Yeah.
kids, and anybody who says they haven't, they're lying.
Hmm.
I'm telling you that right now. So don't feel bad
Thank
about
you.
that.
Thank
It
you.
is what it is. Yes, we do. I did when my kids were teenagers. Oh, I just want to kick them over the fence. I mean, they were nuts. Now they're 40s
Yeah.
and 30s. And so,
Yeah.
and they're and they're getting their payback. Let me just tell you that, right? They have kids of their own now. So you're welcome. But I would love to know, because how do you position this kind of work alongside of, not instead of, but how do you position it alongside of traditional medical or maybe therapeutic approaches, things like that? How do you
I
align?
definitely have to watch my wording because I'm not a medical doctor.
Yeah.
So I am not allowed
Right.
to claim to treat, heal, cure any disease or illness.
Yes.
So but I definitely deal with people both ways. There are some people who, I mean, I'm specifically thinking of one client who I have who has cancer, and she has decided she's not going the medical route. And so she's doing a couple of different holistic modalities, and I fully support that. If that's what you want to do, I will fully support you in that, and I will help you with your
Yeah.
nervous system, which helps with stress because stress
Yeah.
is an underlying cause of everything. I have a lot of clients who have, it doesn't have to be cancer. I mean, anything like, scoliosis or a muscle tissue or a car accident or any number of digestion issues. And then this is used alongside it. I would never try to
Yeah.
replace medical. I'm not a doctor. I'm so glad we have medical
Of
doctors.
course.
But anything
Yes.
that you can do, I've had several doctors who do refer clients to me and they say like, I don't understand the harmonic egg. I don't quite get it, but my clients all feel better. They feel more rested. They are less
Yeah.
stressed. And I know they heal faster when they are less stressed. They recover faster. They heal faster. They go into surgery better.
I love
Yeah.
that. Now tell me, Courtney, share with our listeners, where can they find you?
Yeah.
And tell them a little bit about the remote session. I can speak to it personally. Anybody can reach out to me. I'm happy to give them my feedback. And also, like I'm just rolling into my day 5 through 7, which are going to be way more important. And I think, I think we talked a little bit about this. When you're doing a remote session, the likelihood is you're going to need the 5 to 7 days to really start to feel the effects,
Yeah.
right? So it was beautiful. I loved it. I'm feeling the effects already and I feel energized. And that has been huge for me. Calmer, more focused, right? Because a lot of times I would get overwhelmed and I was like, over here, over here, over here, over here. And I just feel more focused. Yeah. So for me, that took my calming down so that I could stay motivated and stay focused. And I feel happier doing it. So that's been my experience so far. Where can people find you? Give us the scoop.
All right. Well, if you want to come and experience, I have 2 harmonic eggs. So if you want to come to experience them with me here in Grand Rapids, I am at 924 Cherry Street, Southeast Grand Rapids, Michigan, 49506. And it's a beautiful place. There's lots of restaurants and boutique shops around. So I would love you to make a whole day of it if you're anywhere nearby. If you are not nearby and you want to try a in-person session, you could always go to harmonicegg.com and you can type in your zip code and find the one that's closest to you, because we're in 14 countries and I think most states. But the other option is a remote session. So if you want to do a remote session with me, you would have to email me a color photograph of you, and I need your birthday and your name, like your legal name. And then we still have an intake form. So I would still intake you all the forms. I would ask you, it's not just like a medical questionnaire. It's more like, where's the stress in your life? What's causing you joy? What emotions are you feeling? What surgeries have you had or injuries? So I ask a lot of questions, but it's not the same as like a medical question. You're like, what's your height, weight, and date of your last period? So it's not quite like that.
Yeah.
But it's still going to help me pick out. So then whenever we schedule your appointment, if you're remote, I'm going to ask you to, be off your phone. So you could read a book, you could go for a walk, but no AirPods, nothing stimulating. You could sit out in your garden. I don't know. I want to do something really stressful like cleaning your house, but something kind of mellow you can do, or you can take a nap. And then I would recommend usually that you set a timer for 50 minutes once we get started, because otherwise there's that nervous thing like, how long is it? I don't want you to keep checking your phone. So I usually say set an alarm for 50 minutes, and then that's that. It's that easy. So you could text me or call me. You could schedule my website. But here's the cool thing. If you use code SOCKDRAWER, that's for $25 off a remote session. Usually they're $95, but that would bring it down to, I think, $70. You still have to schedule with me directly and use code SOCKDRAWER.
Thank you. That is a surprise. Courtney didn't even tell me she was going to do that for our listeners. So I'm very excited about that. Code Sock Drawer. Thank you so much. And we'll definitely have all that in the show notes, and all the details. And of course, we'll send a couple clips out and we can, talk to people about it then. Now, quick question. Yeah. We kind of have a fun period of that, but I do have a question about, before we move from this section. If they get on your website, it does tell, there's a lot of detail about it. They can read about it. Can they reach out to you? You said text or call, reach out to you, and just if they just have questions, and they've read everything and they still have a few questions before they want to dive in and get this healing started.
You can call me, you can email me, you could text me. I'm also on social media. You could follow me on social media if you have questions. My TikToks are a little bit crazy, but I have a lot of information on Facebook and Instagram. LinkedIn's a little more professional,
So all the things, all the places. I love it. I love it. Listen, so depending on your mood, if you feel professional, go to LinkedIn. If you're feeling fun and fritzy, Go to
Woo!
TikTok and everything in between. So listen, we've kind of reached is there anything else you want our listeners to know before we jump into our 60-second drawer dash, which is like a rapid fire questions for you?
I'm ready. Bring it on.
Just for fun. Okay. All right. So one word your body uses to get your attention first.
Fatigue.
Yeah. Calm or clarity?
Calm.
What do you do less now that you wish you had stopped sooner?
Worrying about what other people think.
I love that so much. What's something your nervous system doesn't tolerate anymore?
Negative vibes. I can't handle people complaining. I just can't handle the blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. My favorite word for the name of those is Eeyore.
Yeah, I can't handle
Eeyores kind of
anymore.
title them an Eeyore. Yeah, no more Eeyores. I should make a shirt that says Eeyore, and then, but I love Eeyore, but not in that sense. Okay, what does home feel like in your body?
Just deep breathing. Just, yeah.
Yeah. What's one habit that quietly has changed in your life?
It sounds so silly. Deep breathing. Because I'm not saying I never get stressed again, but when I do notice myself getting worked up, I just kind of close my eyes, and it doesn't even take 10 minutes, but just 15 or 20 seconds of like some slow, intentional breathing makes the world go round. It sounds like I'm being simplified or oversimplification. It's not, it's real.
It is so real. Breathing, this is why there are experts out there teaching us different methods of breathing, because breathing, depending on what it is you're trying to accomplish, there are different methods of breathing for that. Finish this sentence.
Okay.
Healing for me is blank.
Peace.
I agree. Okay. Before we let you go, we always ask our guests, please come up with a tiny dare, something that is actionable, doable for our listeners that they can implement today and start to do to help them feel a little bit more at peace and head in the direction they want to go.
I would say pay attention to your body a little bit more. Like when your body starts whispering that whether you're uncomfortable or whether you're anxious or whether you're discouraged, when your body or sore or fatigued, when your body starts whispering, actually pay attention to it. Because if you don't pay attention to the whispers, it's going to start screaming. Something more big is going to happen, So I say just maybe it's a little bit of mindfulness. Really listen to your body, even when it just whispers.
I love that. So the tiny dare listeners, listen to the whispers from your body. And what it takes to do that is even just 5 minutes of still. Yeah. Courtney, this has been such a thoughtful conversation, and really not just about alternative wellness, but about listening to your body and honoring those lived experiences and expanding how we think about restoration. I appreciate the way you approach this work with intention, and you have so much passion and so much care for it, and just respect for the individual that's attempting to go through it. Right. You have such a way of delivering the information that just makes you feel calm about, I'm going to try this. It may seem odd or I may not be sure of it yet, but I'm going to give it a try. And I appreciate that about you. And thank you so much for sharing both your personal journey and the purpose behind the Harmonic Egg and Wellness GR. Again, thank you for being here. The work you're doing is just outstanding, and it's going to just help so many people. And to our listeners, thank you for spending this time with us. These conversations are invaluable, and they remind us that you're not alone and you don't have to do it all on your own. And listen, everybody's reinventing themselves. Everybody's trying new things. Everybody wants to go in a different direction and themselves. And we're here to help you do that. Sock Drawer listeners, we'll see you on the next episode. Courtney, thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much.
All right, Sock Drawer family, that's a wrap on today's Drawer Dump. Big thanks to our guests for sharing their story and their heart with us. Until next time. Don't forget, life's too short for mismatched socks. Retire the ones with holes and inspire the ones that still shine. See you soon.